beat block, or as I like to call it, creative block. It's one of the very many challenges that everybody faces. Listen, I know how disappointing it is to realize you're not like your idols that you looked up to when you were younger. But even they experience creative block too. Unless your idol is a creative genius like Kanye West, then I don't know what to tell you.
You ain't got the answers, man.
Even though it's inevitable and everybody struggles with it, today I'm gonna put you guys onto 5 different ways that I personally get out of creative block and how you can too. Now, before you pause this video and write in the comments, oh, I already know this is already stuff I do.
I'm not finished.
Just hear me out for a second. Unlike other information you probably heard before, I'm gonna give you guys not only mental, but practical things that you can do to get over it. You see, this is you now, and this is you after this video. This is you now, then this is you after this video. This is you now, this is you after this video. So you get the point. All you gotta do is just trust me. So let's get started. Well, actually, before I give you guys the gems, I gotta make sure that this is tailored to you. Now, this is a video. How am I gonna do that? Well, it's this one concept that I gotta put you guys onto before I give you guys the 5 gems. That simple concept is called self-awareness. You see, self-awareness is the key to understanding the information that I'm about to give you. Many of you have probably already heard of the word self-awareness through Gary Vee. The definition says conscious knowledge of one's character, feelings, motives, and desires. Now that's the definition of it, but this is how I was introduced to this.
I think everybody hears things in their head. I mean, people hear conversations, people hear ideas, and also the kind of person you are. Like, there are 3 kinds of people in the world. They're like people who are visual, people who are kinesthetic, people who are auditory. People who are auditory say, yeah, I hear in my head this, I hear that, or when they're talking to you, they go, you know what, I hear what you're saying. And you know, when you say it like that, like, it really registers and I hear you loud and clear. Visual people go, yo, I see what you're saying. I mean, you know what, well, no, I picture it like this. Kinesthetic people go, I feel you. But you know what my gut tells me?
You see, everybody learns different, and how you learn affects the way you see the world. So are you a visual learner, meaning you need to see it done in front of you by somebody else in order for you to get it? Are you a kinesthetic learner, somebody that has to touch it and kind of feel your way and figure it out yourself? Or are you an auditory learner, somebody that just has to listen to it and then just try to piece it together the way they hear it? Understanding how you learn takes some self-isolation, and that means being away from your phone, being away from distractions, and kind of learning how you learn. So now that we got that covered, I could give you guys the first one, and that is success leaves clues, but it's up to you to piece them together. It's never been a better time because we have so much at our fingertips. Resources, outlets, so much information, but people don't tell you this is right and this is wrong. This is good, this is bad. Early on in our lives, we looked up to our heroes and we felt like they were born with some special talent that we could never have. We feel like they can't do no wrong because everything they did was perfect. Now, you might have not said, oh, I can't achieve this, but when you create a project and you feel stressed out because it's not the magnum opus every single time, that's the reflection. That's it. So you might not be saying it, but in your action, that's what it feels like. This is because you have taste, and taste always conflicts with our abilities. One of the ways that I get out of beat block is to always watch my heroes and piece together stuff and try something that I just saw. I used to wish to just be a fly on the wall and just see my heroes cook up. But now with things like Twitch, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, them putting out YouTube videos and branding themselves, you can see that now. And upon watching your heroes, you'll really learn that they too struggle with the same thing. Not everything they make is gold. You'll realize that nobody has it figured out and they mess up too. This should take the boulder off your back because you could just tune in to watching one of your favorite producers like T- and watch him create not only in real time, but also mess up and experiment. You can literally see what they took hours to learn, maybe even decades to learn. That's something that you can build off of, and you can start building your own style off of. Just remember this one right here for later, because I'm gonna bring this back up later in the video. So whether that's learning how to record from Kenny Beats, bounce from Timbaland, knowledge from Illmind, or experimentation from T-, you can find your style. You just gotta be curious and piece things together. So the next way I learned how to overcome beat block is deconstruction. Early on, I used to think it was bad to remake some of your favorite music. I thought I was a fraud who was bad at arrangement and could never make good music. I also thought that everybody would judge me until I heard this.
The first beats weren't amazing and they weren't good, but like you could tell like it was like just the structuring, and I had good structure. I would just listen to other songs and like kind of copy their structure, and that's how I kind of gradually learn how to get better.
That instantly made me think, damn, maybe it isn't so bad to learn a chord progression from a song and switch it up to make something new. I'm here to tell you it's not bad, All you have to do is make it your own version. It's only bad if you try to like steal somebody else's beat and then you just try to pass it off as your own. That's terrible. You see, everything we do is a mimic of somebody else. There's millions of tutorials and covers of songs on YouTube. So does that make them frauds? Does the baby that's learning how to speak make him a fraud because he's copying somebody else and he doesn't learn it on his own? No, that just makes people that are trying, and they're trying to identify and find their voice within it. It's really no different than when people break down a car engine and reassemble it just because they wanted to learn how it's done. Now, disclaimer, there have been cases where people get in trouble for figuring out a feeling a little too well, to the point they say, this sounds and feels the same, let's collect. Example, Blurred Lines with Marvin Gaye, or as of recently, Olivia Rodrigo's record, it sounds a little too close to Paramore. But just like one of my idols says, all I know is how to channel. We all channel in different ways, and if you still don't believe me, Tyler the Creator steals Stevie Wonder's chords. He's actually admitted it to Stevie Wonder himself, and he said, yeah, I know, I hear it. One of the next ways that I get out of beat block is to step away and live life, because that's where your greatest inspiration comes from. I know in the grind culture, we're supposed to grind 24/7 nonstop, but if you talk to enough people, you'll learn this always leads to burnout. Something that I was actually just going through. A lot of people feel like if they aren't hustling 24/7, that's the reason they're losing in life. In society, we're constantly thrown images of other people's highs, but never their lows. This causes us to compare ourselves to them and think, why am I not there yet? Am I not good enough? But even the most successful artists and producers go through the same thing, even after they've won big in life. Stepping away and living life has always gave me the fuel to head back into creating with new confidence and new ideas. And when I say living life, I don't mean only the highs. I mean, sure, who doesn't want to be on an expensive yacht with everybody celebrating you and models serving caviar and calamari? That shit sounds great, but it doesn't always happen. Most people run away from pain, but in life, you can never run away from the lows. It's just something that's impossible. These are the things that mold you. They help you grow. They help you build that character. There's two things I love, music and movies, and they're a reflection of that. I'll give you two examples, that way you can understand. In the movie Spider-Man 2, the early 2000s version, people think the main challenge is Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock. No, it's actually not. The real challenge is how Spider-Man is able to navigate being Spider-Man and Peter Parker at the same time. The challenge of saving people and fighting crime because he has the power to, on top of balancing bills, school life, love, family, a job, while maintaining the Peter Parker image, that's the real challenge. In the comic books, superheroes rarely have to deal with real life. They're less relatable. Spider-Man is one of the biggest comics commercially because he resonates with so many people, and you can feel what he's going through. So you see, he had to deal with life just like us, and in turn, he grew into the person that he needed to be. Here's my music example. Recently, it was the 5-year anniversary of Blonde by one of my favorite artists, Frank Ocean. He's notorious for going away for years on years on years, then returning with some amazing music, then disappearing again. Kind of like some people who shall remain nameless. In his music, he mainly talks about life and challenges of his life. Many of the biggest artists today are big because they live life, then they talk about it in a beautiful way. Frank Ocean has a cult following because of many reasons. But one of the things that drew me in was the stories that he tells in his music. He literally tells you his pain, his pleasure, experiences, and thoughts in the music. This can't resonate with you much if you haven't lived life and you haven't gone through those type of experiences. In my opinion, the best art has always been a reflection of life and the challenges of life. So go live life, go on dates, go swipe Tinder or whatever you guys that are single do. I'm engaged, so I don't know about that life. But go to concerts, go to festivals, and see how people appreciate this type of music or that type of music. Go to house parties. Like I used to go to house parties in the most dangerous parts of Chicago just to listen to music and see, oh, people like this kind of shit. Okay, people are vibing with this. All right, bet. This is what I'm gonna put my focus on. Like, gain a new appreciation for life. Romanticize your life and then pour all that into the art you're making, because that'll be far more relatable than just talking about cars you don't own, money you don't even have. Just some bullshit that everybody's already heard. So the next thing that I personally do to get out of BeatBLOCK is I just click and play a ton of shit until it works. I know I just gave you guys a ton of deep stuff, but in this case, it's really that simple. Think about how music was made before. Music was made in a band. People were having fun. They didn't have the straight face like, yes, I'm playing the drums. Like, no, fam. People were having fun. People were grooving. It was communion. In this case, with our technology and our laptops and our MIDI keyboards and analog keyboards, just play a ton of stuff until it works. One of the things I'll do is I'll press record and I'll just jam out for like 10 minutes. I don't know how to play the keys, but I do have a good ear and I do know what feels good, what sounds good, and what works. So after that, I'll listen to the 10 minutes and then I'll chop out the best parts that sound good, that feel good. Oh, I can turn that into something. Boom. And just start building upon that. Actually, many producers do this, but most notably, take a day trip. They've been well documented at doing this.
That's a little jam on a Friday. We gotta go back and chop that whole shit up.
There's a time to be creative and then there's a time to be analytical. Find a roadmap that connects both of them in your process and then test stuff out. Don't get too caught up in the presets. Just click the next one. There's no sense of spending half that time trying to design a preset to feel like a producer. I'm pretty sure the Arturia bundle has something that sounds like what you're hearing in your head. If you're a heavy loop user like me, create a beat, then start muting parts, deleting parts, just getting weird with it. Now, the last thing that I do to get out of BeatBLOCK is 10-minute drills. Now, remember when I said in the clip earlier, that's something that you can build off of and you can start building your own style off of. Just remember this one right here for later, because I'm gonna bring this back up later in the video. One of the things I learned from T- was this concept J. Cole told him. Yes, Jermaine Cole.
Jermaine, yeah, Cole. Yes.
And that was the 10-minute drill challenge. Back in May, when J. Cole released his album, The Off Season, he came out with a little documentary with it. And in the doc, he gave this concept of doing 10-minute drills for him to create a verse. While I was watching T-, he shared that J. Cole gave him the same concept when it came to beats. In the 10-minute drills, you basically create a beat without overthinking it until the time is over. Then after that, you can either keep the beat or you can throw it away. I tried this and it really changed the way that I create. Here's another thing that I also picked up from T- to help me with those 10-minute drills. He shared this plugin called XO by XLN Audio. It's not, this isn't like an ad or anything like that. I don't even know if Splice has this on it, but I just think it's dope. Basically, it's a brainchild for all your sounds. You throw all your drum sounds in there and then it pretty much just puts them on this like galaxy and you just click these little dots and then they're playing the sound and you could just drag and drop them into your project file. It's pretty much a layup and it's helped me out a ton. It's been able to help me not only overthink, but it's also helped me not go to the same sounds. So I highly recommend you doing the 10-minute drills. Even if you don't use that plugin, I don't think it's on Splice's rent to own, but any of the other plugins on Splice's rent to own, you could definitely use. Like, I've been using Arturia Lab heavy. I've been making a lot of fire things, so highly recommend that. But overall, the main point of this last gem was to not overthink. I feel like we get too wrapped up in our heads and we're just like, oh, this has to sound amazing or whatever. Like, no. Somebody doesn't have a gun to your head and say, yo, you gotta make the best beat ever, or that's it for you. Like, it's not that deep. So that's the end of the video. I don't even think I introduced myself to the new people. My name is Art. Thank you, Splice, for having me on for a couple more videos. If you like this video, I have another video titled How to Find Your Own Sound. And basically, it's how to find your own sound. I also got a ton of other tutorials on there too, but I'm about to do a ton of stuff on Splice's YouTube channel. So just be ready for the next couple months because, man, I'm excited to share with you guys a ton of just fun, dope ideas. So with that being said, I hope I didn't talk your ears off. I hope all these gems help you guys out. And I hope you guys get out of your creative block. And always remember, just because you couldn't create something one day, doesn't mean you can't create something the next. Your life can change like that. So that's the end of my spiel. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what else you guys want to see. And I will catch you guys next time.